Bad Boyz, my connection to the New York music scene came through one of my East Coast clients, Eric Von Zip Martin. We just called him Zip. 90s or 91. During our annual Southside versus Santana Block Street game of baseball, he was the pitcher for the other team, and we started calling him Doc Holliday after the Old West legend because he had a reputation of being a New York street dude. He was an intelligent, laid-back, good dude with a big heart. Zip knew everybody in New York. In fact, Zip is the one who introduced me to Sean Puffy Combs back in 1991 or 92. The two were very close friends. I met a few people from New York through Zip. About a year after our initial meeting, Zip came out to the West Coast and invited a few of us to a party they were having for Puffy at the El Rey Theater. At the time, Puffy was the talent director at Uptown Records working with Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. About 8 or 67, 9 of us took Zip up on his invitation and went to the party at the El Rey Theater with him. Zip was on the guest list, so he let us into the 5th Verse P section. That night we met Jaleel, Green Eyes from Houdini, and Busta Rhymes. Zip brought us over to where Puffy was and made the introduction. These are my folks. We shook hands, and that was it. I could tell the nigga Puffy had a little swag, but he was like a young kid too, me. Back then Puffy was broke, relatively speaking, because his music industry career was just getting started. I was the one with the big paper back then, filling up bathtubs with cases of bottles. They were still drinking that White Lightning corn liquor from the bootleg houses in New York. I wasn't going for that shit. Stop by the bottle store, nigga. I was popping bottles. I was the one wearing glove-fitting Armani, Versace, Canali, and Brioni suits. I was rich when I met that motherfucker Puffy. I don't blame him, but meeting Puffy has been like a bad dream from which I'm still trying to wake up. I hate that I ever met that son of a bitch. My life has gone backward ever since. After that Vegas shit, the FBI shut me down on my ass. My days turned rainy fucking with Puff. Puff got in touch with me a few months after we met to see about renting one of my 64 lowriders for Usher's first video. Can you get with it? I charged Puff $2,400 to use the lowrider for one day, sent the car up in the Hollywood area on a tow truck, and had one of I was rich when I met that motherfucker, my partner stay up there, Puffy. I don't blame with it in the video Usher. Him, but meeting was dancing on the hood Puffy has been, and fuck like a bad dream. Up the paint, so from which I'm still. They had to send me $4,400 trying to wake up, to repaint it. Back then, the Southside Compton Car Club was a well-off grip set with about 35 cars, jackets, plaques in the window, and everything. Several celebrities rented out our cars for videos, including Marquis Houston, Mel Mel in his video with Redman, and Eazy-E. In the summer of '95, Zip came through the neighborhood and said Puffy and them are having the Beat Summer Jam show tonight at Irvine Meadows. Y'all wanna go? Cool, let's go. When we arrived at the venue, Zip took us through the very important person entrance where all the talent entered. It was a hell of a show. Treach opened up, and then Jodeci. Then Mary J. Blige. Then Junior Mafia Biggie. Then Puff, Faith, and Craig Mack. Biggie performed Dangerous, Juicy, and then brought the house down with One More Chance. You definitely got your money's worth. At their shows with all the hits they were dropping, 69, our crew was 20 to 30, deep, and we were all up on the stage, most of us wearing Dallas Cowboys gear, drinking bottles and smoking weed. The performances took place on a rotating stage, and on one of the rotations I spotted Shuj standing over to one side. Shuj appeared to me like he was getting jealous. Biggie had that hot-ass hit, One More Chance, which was the banger of the summer. Shuj had Death Row Records, but they didn't have any big hits banging at the time. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Shuj looking at me. Then he gestured for me to come over to speak with him. Keffa, let me holler at you. What's up, dog? Then Shuj asked, man, how you know them? Same way I know you, the dope game. How I know them. After the show, that night Puff gave an off-the-chain after-party where he was the DJ. I didn't know the nigga could DJ like that. Not. It's to the Source Awards. That's when Shuj made the controversial comment. Any artist out there that want to be an artist and stay a star and don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all on the videos, all on the records, dancing, come to Death Row. Wu-Tang and them were in the house deep and started booing. The beef was really with Wu-Tang, but I guess Shuj seen them Wu-Tang niggas were some grown-ass men, so they went and picked on them youngsters from Junior Mafia. The beef wasn't with Junior Mafia. The niggas from Wu-Tang were the ones giving them a hard time. Soon after Shuj's Source Awards comment, Zip came back in town. Zip must have orchestrated with Puff. I'm gonna be with Keef D and them tonight, cause Zip's phone rang as we were rolling down Greenleaf, and it was Puffy. He answered, hey, what's up, Puff? Yo, where's your boy Keef D? I need to talk to him. He's right here. Zip passed me his phone. Puffy wants to talk to you. What's up, dog? Man, we're about to do the bet tour. Then he paused. You think it's cool for us to come out there? I was kind of puzzled. Why wouldn't it be? Your boy Big CEO, he's tripping. He was talking about Shuj. I didn't know that their two factions were having funk at the time. Something had happened in Atlanta where Big Jake from Campanella Park had gotten shot, supposedly by Wolfie, one of Puffy's bodyguards from New York. Our position was we weren't getting in the middle of that shit. I told Puff, just send me 40 to 50 tickets, 71, and we'll be in there deep at all your concerts, and that's what happened. Puffy would give us tickets to be at their bad boy West Coast shows. We went everywhere with them fools. We'd meet up with them at the hotel, get the tickets and go with them. I used to ride in the van with the nigga. Crips were backstage, deep at most of those West Coast shows. When Shuj had everybody in the music industry intimidated, I knew he was soft and didn't have a heart because I played Pop Warner football with the nigga. We didn't give a fuck about Shuj and his crew. We didn't give a fuck about Shuj and his crew. To us, they were Rudy Poos we had been fighting all of our lives. Street niggas would do to your ass. To us, they were Rudy Poos we had been fighting all of our lives. Up until then, Shuj was in college, hanging around rappers, perhaps punking rappers, but he couldn't punk real street dudes. He wasn't in the streets like that. He wasn't going to do it real. The way it would work was Zip would fly out and meet us at different locations. Zip always knew where Puffy was staying because they were close. When it was time to get the tickets, we would meet up with them at the hotel. That year, on Halloween night, Bad Boy had a concert at the Anaheim Pond. I picked Zip up from the Long Beach airport, and about 12 of us went to the hotel where they were staying. When got to Puffy's suite, Andre Harrell was in there, and there was a room full of Crips. We started drinking bottles, and the nigga Puffy came out of the bathroom butt naked with nothing but a towel wrapped around him. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking or trying to prove, but I would have never done any shit like that. Puffy was so scared during this time that he had hired ex-Navy SEALs wearing earpieces like they worked for the CIA in the hotel room right next to his suite. We were laughing our asses off. Them street niggas would have killed them SEALs fast as a motherfucker. It's a dirty game on these streets. SEALs play by the books. Street niggas don't. When it was time to head to the venue, I rode over in the hotel van with Puff and Zip. In the dressing room, they had a Kentucky Fried Chicken spread. The show that night featured Joe Desi, Mary J. Blige, Naughty by Nature, the whole Bad Boy crew, Craig Mack, Biggie, Lil Kim, Total, and Junior Mafia. When we got back from the concert, we were up in Puff's suite playing 456, also known as CeeLo on the East. Ghost, on a pan roll on the bed. It was Treach. D-Mac from Mansfield, who was also Puff's college roommate at Howard University, Puff, and a few of the homies. Those niggas didn't know that shooting dice was my little hustle before I got started in the dope game. I was tearing their asses up. Arnell Simpson, O.J. Simpson's daughter, was dressed in a cat outfit that night and came in the room to see Treach. That's when O.J. was going through his shit. Treach told her to get on the bed and meow for him, baby. She kicked her leg up and started meowing like a pussycat. Those parties used to be off the chain. There were all kinds of drugs and shit being passed around, but we didn't fuck with drugs like that. A lot of those pimp dudes like Duane, good game in them, they were smoking crack and snorting cocaine. One dude was sitting down sniffing a mixture of heroin and cocaine called a speedball. First asked him, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "This shit here is better than a nut." I had to tell him, "Nigga, you don't need nothing better than a nut. That shit doesn't go down out here like that. Crips ain't about that. The only thing we used was weed and drank a lot of bottles." VVV. One night when Puff and Zip were in town, I got a call from Zip. "Yo, Puff said he needs to speak with you. Come to meet us at Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset." A few of my partners and I went down to meet Puff and Zip at Greenblatt's Deli Amp. Fine wines. The place sat between a strip club and the Laugh Factory on Sunset BOVD. We went in through the back entrance and started smoking weed on the back patio. That 74 evening, Ronald Isley, also known as Mr. Biggs, and Angela Winbush pulled up in there driving a triple white Rolls Royce. The rag was white. The seats were white, and the interior was cocaine white. That thing was pretty. Ms. Winbush had a white fur wrapped around her. They were supremely hard. Zip and Puff were double dating that night. Zip was with one girl, and they brought one of the girl's cousins. That was actually from our neighborhood as a tag-along for Puffy. The girl from our neighborhood had the reputation of being loose, but Puffy didn't know that. We were all laughing at that fool because he was all hugged up and kissing her, but he didn't know the kind of girl she was back in the hood. A group of us went downstairs to place an order. I remember ordering a pastrami sandwich, then I added, "Give me a couple of those Tatangier Rose." Puff waved me over to step to the side with him. "I need to speak with you, big dog." We stepped off to the side where we were able to speak privately. Like a lion on the Serengeti, I'm able to smell and see fear. Puffy was full of fear. "What's up?" I asked. "I have a couple of problems I need to be handled. Big CEO and pack." I looked at him in his eyes, and without hesitation I responded, "That's not a problem. We can make that happen." After our brief convo, we, 75, went back upstairs and ate. He ate at the table with the broads, and I was with my folks. I didn't tell my guys what Puffy and I discussed while we were eating. I waited until we were in the car on the way home. The nigga Puffy wanted us to take care of Big CEO and Tupac. I bet the nigga would give us $1 million for those niggas' heads. While Puffy and Shuj were in the midst of their ongoing feud, Tupac became a problem when he made that cold-ass diss song. Hit 'em up, Pac ate them up with that song, and Puffy didn't like that. That diss song made Puffy mad, calling him gay like that. Wouldn't you be mad? At the end of that song, Tupac hit us too with that, and if you want to be down with Bad Boy, then fuck you too. That shit made Southsiders mad. Even though he didn't name us, we took that as a dig to the Southside. Before the shit in Vegas happened, I ran into Tupac a few times. I can honestly say he seemed to be a cool guy. The first time I saw him was in 1989 at the Greek Theater where Flava Flav and his crew Public Enemy performed along with Digital Underground. Tupac was a part of the Digital Underground crew, doing his little part on stage wearing a diaper. We were near the front of the stage on the side, and he came out with that punk-ass diaper on. One of the niggas I was with from Tragnew Park was bagging on his ass talking about a grown man walking around in a diaper. We saw Tupac again at a house party in the Valley with a whole bunch of young black celebrities. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, and Sheila Arnold. Duane Martin and his wife, Tisha Campbell. Puffy and Tupac showed up at the party together. I don't know what the fuck was going on at that party, but I wasn't feeling too comfortable there, so we got the fuck up out of there. The next to last time we saw Tupac was when he got out of jail and came out with the record California Love. Once again, Tupac had a line in that song, recognized from Long Beach and Rosecrans, which didn't sit right with Southsiders. Some Southsiders were up at the House of Blues on Sunset, and we ran into Tupac. He was up there with Big Syke from the Outlaws. The homie oldie went up and grabbed Tupac by the collar and pushed him against a wall and said, "Nigga, you know What that Long Beach and Rosecrans stand for? Big Syke spoke up. Nah, homie. He's just rapping on a song, homie. He don't know what's going on out here. Oldie warned him, that's some Piru shit. You better ease up on that shit, nigga. Tack had his chance. He should have learned his lesson then. Tupac mistakenly thought Shuge and the death row crew they were rolling with were untouchable and would protect him. He seemed to have lost touch with the reality of the streets that everyone can be touched. He didn't understand that. We were high-powered. We did the shit he rapped about for real. We weren't into that music industry. Shit, we were going up against real niggas in the streets every day of our lives. Unfortunately, the next time we would see Tupac would be September 7th, 1996, the fateful night in Las Vegas, Nevada, when Tupac mistakenly thought Shuge and the death row dudes they were rolling with were untouchable and would protect him. And the crew he chose to run with crossed the line and put their hands and feet on my nephew Baby Lane, the lowrider used in Usher's video, Death Row.